here, and I just want to salute just a few. First, our spectacular and brilliant cast, who are such a gift. And Gerard, where's Gerard? Oh, and Gerard, of course, Gerard. None of this would be without him. And the synergy of Gerard and Philip George. Is Phil here?
No, he went home.
Oh, and Phil George directed it, and the cast made this such a wonderful experience for all of us. And we thank all of you who are here, our investors, our producers, our cast, our alumni, Christine Petty the Great, Christine Petty the Great Nora May, and our brilliant general manager Ellen Rasconi, our company manager, and our press agent, who has gotten more press than any small show I have ever seen in my life. So thank you all. It has been a pleasure from beginning to end, and I now hold the review from the New York Times, which I would now like to read to you. This is the first time I've ever involved a tablet. The headline is, "Don't cry for them, it's all nasty fun." And by Ben Brantley. It says, that's PSST. "Hey buddy, yeah, you with the double-breasted pinstripes and the clueless expression. You in the market for the ultimate cheat sheet on Broadway musicals? You know something that'll let you join the conversation and sound super smart when your girlfriend, oh sorry dude, boyfriend, starts talking about those silly singing shows that put you to sleep? Then I've got a deal for you. It's called Forbidden Broadway, Alive and Kicking, and it opened on Thursday night at the 47th Street Theater. For just $79 and 100 minutes of your time, this little satire gives you everything you need to be witty, withering, and informed about long, expensive musicals that would cost you thousands of dollars to see. Not to mention all those precious hours that you could be spending with the Giants. You want to be able to discuss Audra McDonald's vibrating vocal intensity in what you refer to as the Gershwin's Porgy and Bess, the rambling, cuddly, cool non-eventfulness of Once, the dangerous, litigious world of Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. How about the hyperkinetic sugar rush choreography of Newsies? Just one session of the current Forbidden Broadway, and you'll be holding your own even among the most passionate first nighters. In an age that prizes the bargains and shortcuts, Gerard Alessandrini's rejuvenated Forbidden Broadway, which arrives packing polished brass knuckles, is a godsend. It returns to New York, where it was born 30 years ago after a 3-year absence, and its timing is impeccable. After all, television shows like Glee and Smash, not to mention The Scalper's Delight, Book of Mormon, have made the Broadway musical something to talk about again. But at the same time, ticket prices have been inflated to forbidding, skyscraping highs. Evidently, Mr. Alessandrini, an altruist as a satirist, has looked upon a starved Manhattan and realized the people need him. They include, in addition to those in search of a quick fix of insider savvy, the dedicated folks who have always loved and exalted and clucked and despaired over the American Song and Dance Show. Mr. Alessandrini shares their proprietary affection and their concerns. Forbidden Broadway closed shop in 2009 because, Mr. Alessandrini said, Broadway had not provided shows worthy of intelligent ridicule. How much can one parrot say about the assembly line committee-made crowd pleasers inspired by movies, comic books, and top 40 hits? Making fun of Broadway musicals became like making fun of synthetic-faced, identically dressed Hollywood actresses on the red carpet during award season. But the past several years of Broadway have racked up enough instances of vulgar excess, off-kilter quirkiness, and even occasional headline-making scandal for Mr. Alessandrini to make up cudgel again. Cudgel? Take up cudgel again. Thank you. As for how he spent those months in the wilderness, it would appear at least part of the time has been devoted to removing any vestiges of velvet gloves. Because when it comes to considering the stars that ply their trade in its intimate neighborhood, this Forbidden Broadway is the meanest that I can recall. George, the agile, hard-hitting four-member cast, Natalie Charlotte, Ellis Scott, Richard Foster, Jenny Lee Stern, and Marcus Stevens, with the essential David Caldwell at the piano, not only tickles, but also pierces the Achilles heels of veterans like Matthew Broderick, Bernadette Peters, and Patti LuPone, and newcomers like Elena Rogers and Steve Kazee. Mr. Broderick's robotic nerd shtick, currently on display in the pastiche 1920s Nice Work You Can Get It, is adroitly embodied by Mr. Stevens with a lazy what me worry dancing and dopey nasal singing, priceless mock Gershwin lyrics that include Swunderbread's mayonnaise. Miss Stern captures exactly the hard-working yet oddly passionless performance of Miss Rogers' Evita, as she promises in song and dance that she'll deliver an utter lack of star quality. Ms. Ellis astonishingly renders opulent note for note the overwrought vocal stylings of Miss McDonald and Porgy and Bess, as well as the unfortunate tone-deaf appearance of Catherine Zeta-Jones. As for the note-stretching anguish of Mr. Kazee, as a romantically tortured musician in once, Mr. Foster delivers it with tortured grimaces of a constipated marmoset.
Yeah! There is a quote.
The show is especially hard on headliners who are no longer young but sing, or try to, as if they were Miss Peters in Follies via Miss Stern, or Miss Lupone, hilariously, Miss Lupone and Mandy Patinkin, Miss Stern and Mr. Stevens in their double-act review. This would be merely unkind and possibly unpleasant if the Forbidden Broadway performers didn't replicate and exaggerate their subjects' vocal tics with such loving exactitude. The lyrics are often as precisely on target, though, non-spoiler that I try to be, I'm refraining from quoting them. These vocal cartoons evoke a star's presence as exactly and efficiently as an Al Hirschfeld caricature. Wow. And a few clunky kicks and dance steps similarly and damningly summon the spirit of Kathleen Marshall's summer stock choreography for Nice Work, Christopher Gattelli's gymnastics for urchins in Newsies, and Stephen Hoggett's yoga stretch contortions and folky clogging for Once. Alive and Kicking is at its most inspired in Once and the Newsies numbers, which dissect the substance or lack thereof within the styles of these productions. Occasionally, the kicking seems to be at dead horses, again with Idina Menzel and Wicked, after all these years. And though the production, I'm not sure if I'm going to read this part. No, it just has some of the old numbers. But this production is deliciously acidic and prickly business of show business with the ill-fated Spider-Man collaborators Julie Taymor and Bono, Ms. Ellis and Mr. Foster, taking it out to the tune of a song from Guys and Dolls. Yep, that one repeats the lyrics, Sue Me. Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the maverick originators of Book and Mormon, are presented in Silicon Valley style, money-gobbling entrepreneurs. And best of all, the director Diane Paulus, Miss Stern, shows up with a pair of scissors and the original score of Porgy and Bess. The constant theater goer will of course bring the connoisseur's relish to all of this, but honestly, you don't have to know the score to enjoy Forbidden Broadway. The quote we want most of all. Good satire generates its own self-contained logic and infectious energy. May I make a confession? I have shamefully neglected to see Rock of Ages, the 1980s style big hair band musical. But after visiting Alive and Kicking, I would be happy to discuss it with you at length.